If you are hosting a website or a web application, simply putting it online isn't enough. Once your application is exposed to the internet, it can receive all kinds of requests from users, bots, and potentially malicious sources. Let's start with a simple setup where there is no web application firewall. Here, the user connects directly to the web application. Whenever the user opens a page, submits a form, or makes an API request, that request travels directly to the web application. There is no security layer between the incoming request and the application. For example, a normal user might load a page, submit a contact form, or call an API. All of these requests go directly to the application. But legitimate users aren't the only ones who can send requests. An attacker can also send requests to the same application, and those requests reach the same entry point. From the application's point of view, both legitimate and potentially malicious traffic are simply incoming HTTP requests. The application has to deal with all of this traffic, and attackers can send specially crafted requests to try different types of web attacks. These can include things like SQL injection, cross-site scripting, malicious bots, and other suspicious traffic. So, how do we add a security layer between the incoming traffic and our application? This is where a Web Application Firewall or WAF comes in. Instead of allowing the traffic to reach the application directly, we put the WAF in between the user and the application. Now, every request reaches the WAF first. The WAF can inspect the incoming request and decide whether it should be allowed or blocked. The request reaches the WAF first. The WAF inspects the incoming request and applies its security rules and threat detection mechanisms. Based on that inspection, the WAF can make a decision about what happens to the request. Let's first look at a legitimate request. The request reaches the WAF and is inspected. If the request is considered safe, the WAF allows it and forwards it to the web application. From the user's perspective, the application continues to work normally. Now let's look at a suspicious request. The request reaches the WAF and is inspected. If the request is detected as malicious, the WAF can block it. The request is stopped before it reaches the web application. So first let me show the demo of it so you will understand how it is working. Here you can see on the left hand side I have a very basic Flask application but doesn't have the WAF. Basically all the requests that we send it will directly reach the application. On the right hand side we have the same Flask application but all the requests we make will be directly go to the WAF first. Then the WAF will decide. The Web Application Firewall will decide whether we want to save this request to the application. So let me show this. Here on the right hand side, first let me make the SQL injection. In the username, I'm going to simply pass this SQL injection for the username and for the password you can give any. So let me click on login. You can see that it successfully taken this request. Normally it shouldn't write because we are passed the SQL injection. So let me try the same on the WAF protected application. So for the username, I'm going to give the same SQL injection and for the password, let me try something else. So if you click on login, you can see that we got this access forbidden because the WAF blocks this request. This is the power of using the web application firewall. So let me try one more attack. So I'm going to try Proxy scripting. I'm going to pass this or Proxy scripting here. And if I click on research, you can say it takes in this request as well. So let's also try this in all this WAF protector application here. And if you prefer search, you can see that access forbidden. The WAF has blocked this access. And sometimes it can also happen at the contact forms as well. So now that we know how your WAF works, let's take a look at SafeLine. SafeLine is a self-hosted web application firewall that you can deploy in your own environment and use to protect your web application. So instead of sending your application traffic through a third-party cloud proxy, you can run SafeLine yourself and place it in front of the application you want to protect. It has the GitHub stars of 22.3K, which is good, right? And they have the global users of more than 5,000 paid users. So before we install it, let's quickly look at some of the features SafeLine provides. SafeLine includes web threat detection, bot protection, HTTP threat detection, and identity and access management. So this is how your SafeLine actually works. And previously I have explained that all the requests your application firewall first, then only it will directly go to your application. Here you can view the unique value proposition. So for this video, I'm going to mainly focus on the WAF functionality and the actual deployment and testing process only. The installation process is also well documented. So if you click on this deploy now, it will open up your documentation page for you. Here I'm going to use the official SafeLine documentation only. SafeLine supports deployment using Docker, which makes the setup fairly straightforward. Here you can see first we need to satisfy this requirement here. So we need to have Linux. Don't worry, I will show you how to use this on the Windows as well. So you need to have this. So you need to have this architecture. That is, you need to have this 61-bit architecture, and then you need to have a Lacker as well that we can install. Then you need to have minimum 1 CPU and 1 GB memory and 5 GB disk storage. So for these, what we can do is, if you don't have the VPS now, you can use your WSI. I will show you how to install WSI. So if you open up the terminal now, here I have already installed it in my Windows. So this is the power of using the WSL. So I have already made a video about how you can install the WSL in your Windows machine. Here you can see I have to Windows terminal here. If you want to install it, just you need to type to implement command only. But if you want the detailed explanation, you can check this video over here, how to install the WSL2 on those complete tutorial. But for the short note, you can just type WSL if I can install, and you can specify the OS. You can specify Google here. So this should install it Ubuntu on your Windows machine. So once you have it now, you can open up the Ubuntu terminal. In the past, I have the terminal here, and you can see now we got the terminal over here. Here, let me switch to the root user now. So let me enter the password. Now I have switched to the root user. So let's go to the documentation page now. Here for this, we need to have the Docker installed. If you don't have the Docker, you can install it by typing the follow command. First, let me check the Docker version. You can say I have already installed. If you want to install, just type apt install Docker.io. So we also need to Docker compose as well. You consider Docker.io already installed. So let me use this now. So once you have the Docker now, then what you can do is you can check the other requirements for that is you need to have the 1 GB RAM increase and 5 GB disk storage. Then you can use this command to install it. Here, basi, just a single setup step only. So you have to copy this and paste it here and press enter. Here you can see SafeLine installation page. Here you can install, upgrade or uninstall, repair, restart. So let me type one here. You can see that SafeLine already exists. Here you can see we got this already exists. So what I will do is I will say restart. So let me close this now, and I'm gonna press 5 here. So it will restart all my Docker containers for the SafeLine. So whenever you're going to install, just select the first option, that is install. Now the SafeLine Docker containers has been restart. Let me show you how to access this. So if you type docker ps-a, there you can see we have this means containers running for the SafeLine, and all of this has been running since 2 May. So when you log in for the first time, it will give you the command in the terminal itself. That is when you select the first option install. But if you forget the password, let me show you how to reset the password as well. So the main container that we will use is this second SafeLine management, that is the MGT. Here you can see this is so let me show you how to reset the password. So docker reset. So let me copy this container ID. You can search just the main one. Let me copy this container ID. So because we need the username and password to log into the SafeLine dashboard. So let's say reset admin. So it will reset the password for you. Here you can see we will have the initial password as well. So this is your username and the password. And then you need to get your IP address. So if you are using the DPS, just type your IP address. But since I'm using the WSL, let me show you how to get the IP address of this WSL. So just type hostname hyphen capital I. So hostname hyphen capital I. Where you can see the first one is your IP address. So copy it and paste it here. And the port number that it is working on is the 9443. Where you can see now we got the SafeLine dashboard. So from this dashboard, you can add your application to protect. Here you can see I have already added a one web application, and it will display all the statistics over here. We can monitor the traffic and view security events generated by SafeLine. Here you can see it already blocks 3 repos over here. And if you go to the attack section, you can see that it has blocked this many attacks from this IP address. Here you can see attack count is 2. If you open that one, here you can see it has blocked this exercise ROS type strip, and it also blocked the SQL injection. So it gives you the detailed instruction what are the attacks that has been blocked. So if you put it application, I have already added a one sample Flask demo application over here. So what I will do is I will delete this and show you from start how to add in new application. And to add in new application to protect your web server, so here you can see we have a simple Flask application that I have in Windows machine. So we need to run this application from the same network. So what I will do is I will run it from the Ubuntu itself. That is the WSA. So if you are using the VPS, it doesn't matter. It can run from anywhere. You can just provide your domain name there. But since I'm using the local environment only, right? So I want to be running on the same network. For you can see it is running on the port 5000. Let's now open the application now. So this is the sample Flask application here. So let's see how to add this to the WAF. So this application doesn't have any protection layer here. So whatever you give, it will take. Consider if we give SQL injection, it will take. Same for the process skipping as well. So let me try the process skipping as well. You can say it has taken the report. Same for the contact. Some users will try some attacking on the contact form as well. So normally in the message section, what they will do is they will try some process scripting. Where you can say I'm passing this step tab over here in this message box. So if you say no, it will take this step. So let us see how to protect our application. So let me go to the dashboard and click on add an application. Here, so this is the window. Here first we need to enter the domain. If you don't have a domain, so don't worry, I will show you how to get a domain for yourself. 8 points. So for this, we don't need the HTTPS repository for the certificate concept. You need to provide the SSL certificate. So what we can do is we can delete the HTTPS. So HTTP only is enough for us. And here we need to provide the upstream URI. So the upstream URI is our top application URI. Consider our Flask is running on this port 5000. Then you can give your application name now. So in this case, you can say Flask protection. So if you wanted domain, so I will recommend you to check this or .dms. So they will provide a subdomain for you. So let me open this first URL store and let me log in using my GitHub account. And let me GitHub account. So once I've logged in, the dashboard will look like this. Here you can say I have already added 2 subdomains. So I don't know the subdomains. So let me do this. If you want to add in subdomain, you can add yours here. You can just type this subdomain and click on add domain. But since I already have now, once you have the subdomain, you can just add your IP address over here. So let me go to the application now. So you can get the IP address also from this WSL as well. You can say this is our IP address. So if you are using the VPS, provide your VPS IP address over here and click on IP. Consider because it was already there. So I don't want to update it again. So once I added that, you can check now. So let me copy this domain name here. So let me copy this and paste here. So it is running on the port 5008. So let me go port 4000. You can say it works perfectly fine. So this is a Flask application without WAF. So we have to enter the domain in WAF here and it is running on the port 80. So whatever request we give now, the WAF will pass check. Once it is satisfied, if we redirect to the upstream URL, so we can access our application to this domain name without the any port number because it WAF is running on the port 80. Let me repass submit. So just go to the domain name now. So this is the application without WAF and this is the application with WAF, Web Application Firewall. Let's try from the same SQL injection and see how it performs. So let me say you can see that it protects the cross site skipping, access file return, and it is also do the same attack in the contact form also. So let me say XSX text here on the console now. You can say access file return. Earlier, all these requests are being allowed, right? Now, if you go to the attack section, you can see that it will show you what are the attacks it has blocked and for which IP address it has detected. You can say duration 1 minute ago. If you go to the attacks, you can see it has a block on cross-site skipping. It will also show you the other reports that we have made, that is the SQL injection. See, it will also show the IP address along with the port number and the time, all the details that you need. You can monitor all the details here. So if you go to the dashboard, it will show all the statistics. So here, right, we can see, you can also see the geolocation as well. Since the data is very small, it will take some time to update. Once you have some reasonable amount of data, it will show the geolocation as well. And here you can also specify some rules. You can build a custom rules, whether you want to allow a request or deny a request. So if you want to add a rules, you can go to add a deny rule and you can specify the custom rule because if you want to test your application, you can deny this rule. You can also specify which IP address that you want to deny. You can also specify that, and you can also add the under or condition, and we have some operator over here equals does not equal fuzzy mask side or IP group. In geolocation, you can also block an IP address from a specific location, that is you can give India or US. So this is another feature that you want to try out. Same way, you can also delay a row. So this is another feature, and it will also protect the HTTP flood. So DDoS protection, we consider from the DDoS attacks also it will block immediately. So here we have the rate emitting and the waiting rule feature. Here you can see rate emitting, it will like You also have the anti-bot detection. So if we immediately block the replicator, so if it detects it as a block. So from the settings, here comes the settings. So if you want to add a SSL certificate, you can also add a SSL certificate over here. So yeah, this is all about the web application firewall that you can protect your application. So yeah, that was our look at SafeLine on how your web application firewall can add an extra layer of security in front of your web application. So what I really like about SafeLine is that it is self-hosted, so you can deploy it in your own environment, have control over the security layer in front of your application. If you are running your own application, phone lab, or infrastructure, and you are looking for self-hosted WAF, SafeLine is definitely something worth checking out. So I will leave all the relevant SafeLine links in the description and the pin command. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.